Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Expansive Astrology Academy. This is a Gemini season wrap up slash Cancer season sneak peek. It's probably a little bit more of a Cancer season sneak peek, if I'm being honest. I'm not chatting a whole lot about Gemini today. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So honored if you're here. My name is Melissa O'Malley. And we're just gonna hop into it. I really love this time of every single season. I feel like each season, each month is like a mini little container, a little portal, and we're never the same leaving a season as we were when we entered the beginning of Gemini season. And especially, I want to say especially now, especially now, but I don't know if I would feel this way in the past too. Who knows? But especially now, it seems like so much happens in the span of a week, let alone a month. So yeah, really, as the year moves on, we're moving into more mature, more like deeper energy, and like we're growing up. There are growing pains that come with that. From the raw and pure, really simple kind of organic energy of Aries at the beginning of the astrological year in March and April. Now we're moving into a more mature sign, the first water sign of the year, Cancer, and we're in a very different space than we were during Aries season. The energy is maturing. Since the astrological new year, we've explored our relationship with ourselves and how well we know ourselves and how we operate in the world and how we claim and take up space in Aries. And then we've explored how we cultivate that space that we've claimed and taken, how we cultivate it and seek security and stability, and the difference between control and power, and how we embrace and receive pleasure during Taurus season. And then in Gemini, we've explored our relationship with our brains and our nervous systems and how we react to things and how our relationship with our inner selves and our inner world is very much reflected in our outer worlds. And now moving into Cancer, where the phrase is I feel, we get to really dig deep and begin to explore our relationship with our emotions. We're moving into water energy, which is all about our like emotional feeling, watery selves. It's a time to find rest, dare I say rest, and a sense of home as we continue the uncomfortable and expansive process of blooming and growing. There's duality there. And I love the way that Gemini sets us up to look at duality in life, duality in ourselves, and duality in the world. Because now during Cancer season, it's really a time to find stillness and a sense of home, stillness in our shell, in our crab shell, as we continue to expand and bloom. We are ready to bloom. I know you are. I know I am. So ready to shed this shit, but we're stuck. We're stuck right here, right in it. We're right in the middle of it. It's kind of only getting started. So how do we continue our growth and continue to evolve and continue to find home no matter where we find ourselves? Gemini has been a season of like sacred reflection. The phrase for Gemini is I think. We've been floating around in the air with our many, many thoughts and interpretations and reactions to gestures widely. Where we've been really in this chaotic energy and invited to explore how we're reacting to everything. Everything going on in the world right now. The lunar eclipse last Friday has opened a window. We're in a portal between eclipses. We're right in the midst of eclipse season. So ask yourself, what do you know now that you didn't know a week ago? What beliefs and attachments have you been floating around with and evaluating or letting go of or adjusting? What beliefs and attachments have been with you that you've been exploring, even just in the last week? If you've allowed yourself and if you've been open to it, it should be a lot of things. Don't resist this work. Take the invitation and stop floating in it. Examine it. Decide what beliefs, what do you want to, what do you need to adjust? What do you need to let go of? What old shit or beliefs need to get out of your shell? More on that later. And I don't know if you're gonna like to hear this, but this is just the beginning. We're in eclipse season, baby, and shit's coming to light. Shit's about to come to light. And in Cancer, we get to take a really deep dive into our value systems, our home life, now and growing up, which can be a lot of things. I won't even go there. Yes, I lost something. Sorry, don't mind me. We get to really deep dive into our value systems, our home life, where our values came from. Cancer invites us to explore our intuition, how we evolve and how comfortable we are with evolution. Cancer invites us to explore how we defend ourselves, our defenses, how we relate with others and maintain our relationships or attachments, how we find home in our space and find comfort in the space wherever we are. My tarot teacher, Lindsay Mack, says that entering Cancer season is like going into the shell and determining the crab meat from the crab shell. We get to explore what is you, and what is not. What do you need to keep with you in your shell, in your home, in your world, in your little crab shell, in your life? Which beliefs have you picked up along the way that maybe others have given you? Which beliefs have you adopted from your parents? Which beliefs have you taken from others? Maybe you don't even know where the heck that belief came from. Maybe you have no idea where this table lamp came from, this table lamp of a belief in your this metaphorical table lamp of a belief in your metaphorical crab shell. Maybe you don't even know where it came from. Is it time to get rid of it? Does it even work for you anymore? This old table lamp, would it be better to chuck it out of your shell? So just are certain beliefs or attachments or values of yours kind of just taking space and crowding you out of spaciousness and comfort in your shell? Remember, and so let me back up. We get to explore all of our beliefs, all of our values, how we feel, yeah, I don't want to just keep talking about shells, but how we feel inside of our shell. And when do you feel safe outside of your shell? How does your shell protect you? And remember, we all have this metaphorical shell, even the most open or extroverted people. What does your shell consist of? How does it protect you? When do you feel safe to come out of your shell? How do you defend yourself once you're outside of your shell? Do you pinch? Do you scream? Do you make jokes as a defense? Like, how do you defend yourself when you're feeling vulnerable? How do you handle vulnerability? Who do you bring into your shell with you? Who do you let crack open that shell? And how do you nurture them, those people? And how do you nurture yourself? Cancer is often related to like our mothers or really maternal energy, and that doesn't resonate for everybody. So I really like to consider just plain old nurturing. How do you nurture yourself and how do you nurture others? And maybe there is space for you to explore like your relationship with your mother or your maternal side if you have one. And I think it's about a lot more than just mothers. I think this is about, um, I need more adjectives. Um, it's about nurturing, deeply care and intentionally taking care of yourself and others and your world, your home, your literal home and your metaphorical home, your abstract home, your home in the universe. The work of 2020 has been messy and traumatizing collectively. And we're only just beginning. We're a third of the way through the astrological year. We're a third of the way through our emperor year. Cancer helps us wrap up the first trimester of the year, if you will. We move through the elements, the 4 elements, we move through them 3 times: fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, and then it's a new year. And in terms of the traditional year, we're halfway through with 2020. And this season here right now allows us to really explore how we want to show up for the rest of the year. This year that none of us planned for. We all pictured this year going differently, right? And diving deep with Cancer is a really perfect way we get to reemerge with our next fire season in Leo and be ready to like kill it for the last half of the year to the best of our ability with what we're being given. But this is a beautiful opportunity to really explore what do I need to take with me in this shell? Cancer is also related to the Chariot card in the tarot. Is it time to upgrade your chariot? Are you in an old, rattly, maybe it still works, maybe it still travels, but do you need an old, rattly chariot that is comfortable, but maybe a little beat up and crammed and the wheels like on your chariot? Like maybe it's time to upgrade your wheels and the foundation of that chariot. Metaphors. So we also have 2 more eclipses in the coming month. We're right in the midst of eclipse season, and I've been doing a ton of research on eclipses, and I'm really excited to be able to bring that knowledge, that more in-depth knowledge about eclipses and what that means and what that is to you this month. We have a solar eclipse, otherwise known as a new moon in Cancer, on June 21st, and another lunar eclipse in Capricorn, which is Cancer's opposing sign, on July 4th. Is that right? Is that crazy? Why do I feel like it's the 5th? Let me check real quick. Sorry. It's the 5th. It's the 5th, July 5th. Cancer. So Cancer season of Expansive Astrology Academy is going to include 4 weeks of new content. Week 1 will be, and I'm planning to have the content come out on Saturdays this season. So we'll have like a welcome to Cancer season, and usually the first week 1 of Expansive Astrology Academy, I kind of just like hand you the basics and skim the surface and invite you to really do your own exploration. But there's too much for this season. There's too much to get into. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to deep dive into your values. What do you value? And where did those values come from? What is still serving you? I'm excited. Week 2, I'm calling the shell. We're going to explore our shell and all that means, all that entails, our defenses, our defense mechanisms, our comfort with vulnerability, our shell. And then week 3, I'm calling the crab, because we're gonna go inward, and we're gonna talk about our emotions, our relationships with ourselves, our intuition. I'm hoping that my students can like walk out of Cancer season and feel more connected with their intuition, because we all have a strong sense of intuition, whether you feel connected to yours or not. Ugh, I love that shit. And then in week 4, I'm gonna bring the tarot into it, and we're gonna talk about the Chariot. And Cancer is also ruled by Jupiter, and the tarot card for Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune. So I'm also gonna touch on the Wheel of Fortune and how that relates with Cancer season and how we can really honor the medicine that the Wheel of Fortune brings. And then, of course, we'll have a season wrap up. And very exciting this season, I'm switching over to a new platform where I know I have the opportunity to make my own little groups and communities rather than bringing it all on Facebook. It can be a little more intimate and private in the learning platform. I'm hoping that this switch will be all positive, and that means that I have to like do the web design and stuff and the uploading, and it's not my favorite part. But I'm really excited to be able to dive into a new platform and bring this material to students and what I really think will be a more effective, like better way of delivering it. I'm really excited. That's just some behind the scenes back end shit. I want to leave you today with some questions that I'm giving my students, just a few, to help you reflect and kind of marry what we've been exploring in Gemini with where we're gonna go in Cancer season. Because I always say like this week or these few days between the seasons are like a sticky, it's a sticky transition where like it's not like a clean cut, right? We get to really drag with us some Gemini energy into Cancer season, and I like to do that very intentionally. So ask yourself, or I'll ask and you answer, over the past month or so, what have you learned about your system and how you operate? What have you learned about your nervous system, the way you react to things, your relationship with your brain? Gemini is air, and it's seemed common that a lot of us feel kind of disconnected and kind of chaotic and kind of like, where's the time going? Where has the time gone? Like kind of just floating around and like like anchoring on for dear life when we can. I don't think that's just Gemini season's fault, right? And all of that chaos and all of that challenge can really bring to light more data and more information about our relationship with our brains and our body's relationship with what is going on outside of our body, outside of ourselves, how we react and respond to things. What have you learned? What have you learned about how you respond to difficult things? Have you, where have you grown in your ability to communicate what is going on inside of you? Where have you, really mastered the ability to make what is happening inside of you real on the outside? Sounds kind of weird, but how do you communicate? How do you express what is going on inside of you, and how do you make that tangible in some way outside of you, whether that's communicating with some sense of support system, or whether that's creating something with your hands? How do you express what's happening inside of you? When do you respect yourself the most? And what impacts your sense of self-respect? How can you like take radical control of your sense of self-respect and experience such a deep and profound respect for yourself that whatever is happening outside of you doesn't really waver, doesn't allow your self-respect to crumble? How do you care for and protect yourself? And how do you care for and protect others? That's a very Cancer question. What makes you feel crabby? What makes you feel threatened? And how do you respond when you feel threatened? How do you respond when you feel the need to defend yourself? What do you do? Do you just lash out and use your pincher and respond? Do you just lash out and defend yourself? Or are you able to kind of control your pinchers and pinch with caution? Are you able to notice, like, ooh, I'm feeling threatened, and ooh, I want to defend myself, and ooh, um, respond from there. Respond rather than react. How do you defend yourself? And how healthy is your relationship with your emotions? I'm really curious. Me, myself, being a very emotional person and being a person who's very deeply connected to my own emotional spirit, my own emotional body, my own emotional self. Um, I'm always curious how it is for other people who kind of resist that. Where do you fall on the emotional spectrum? Kristen Bell said it first. She said, if I'm not between a 3 and a 7 on the emotional scale, I'm crying. And I used to say, oh, me too, Kristen Bell, until a friend told me that for me, it's actually a 6 and a 4. Like my threshold is even smaller. So I'm this ultra emotional person. Where do you fall? And how can you honor that? And how can you use your emotions as a superpower? Whether you're super emotional or not, you don't have to be super emotional. And you do have to honor that you are an emotional being, and you're better off, if you ask me, you're better off developing a really deep and knowing relationship with your emotions so that then you can navigate accordingly. So that is my Gemini season wrap up, the Cancer season sneak peek. I really hope that you find it useful, find it helpful, find it inspiring. I hope that you're ready for our first water season of the year. I know I am. I'm super excited. And I'd love to have you with me. If you have your birthday during Cancer season, you get special pricing on Expansive Astrology Academy. If you would like to be a part of Expansive Astrology Academy Cancer season, you can join absolutely anytime. And it's like, oh, my schedule. In addition to the 4 weeks of content, you get an orientation to Expansive Astrology Academy that really helps to set the stage for what I'm doing here and what the intentions of the program are. Then you also get bonus modules on managing your mindset and setting intentions or writing manifestations that work. So tons of content. At least 3 live coaching calls with me. And then, access to a brand new private community just for Expansive Astrology Academy students, Facebook free. So I'm super excited for that. Let me know, send me a message, comment here. I'd love to hear from you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.